Okay, let's talk about vaping. So, let's talk about vaping and smoking and differences, right? So, we have to think about. I'm talking about stop with these things. So, to quit smoking and to quit vaping. I think those are two very, very different sets of things, right? Like, because let me just explain, right? Before you complain. When you smoke, okay? Let's look at an average smoker. Because that's the whole thing of this thing is I want to explain that perhaps vaping, like if you take one hit of a cigarette and one hit of a vape, I really and truly believe, like factually believe, I believe in that. So don't come at me with like, yeah, are you stupid? Vaping is much less dangerous. I think if you take a hit of a cigarette and a hit of a vape, cigarette is way more dangerous. But I want to tell you not why cigarettes and vapes are equal as dangerous. Even though I think that, but I'm not talking about it yet. Because I do think that it's a whole different thing. Like, look at the normal smoker. Average addicted smoker smokes, I guess, 20 cigarettes a day. But how does he smoke them? He has to go outside, first of all, because in our world, we spend most of our time like inside. So he has to go outside, except he smokes in his apartment or something. And he has to go outside, light a cigarette, and smoke the cigarette. And I would guess a normal cigarette takes about 20 hits to smoke away, you know. And after those 20 hits, you probably don't smoke for another hour. Or quarter of an hour, I don't know. So you don't smoke for some time, right? So you go out, take your 20 hits, wait a quarter of an hour or something, if you smoke 20 a day, and then you go out and smoke again. So it's really a completely differentiable act. So like, you know, smoking is like a whole interaction. You go out, you light a cigarette, you stand there for 5 minutes, smoke the cigarette away, and you go in. So every time you need a nicotine hit, you have to do an act. If you roll cigarettes yourself, you don't have to roll it before that, right? So it's a whole act. Let's look at how vaping works. Vaping is, in my eyes, completely different for one reason. And the one reason is how you consume it. Because with a vape, I know for a fact, I don't vape or fucking shit at all. Okay, so I had to stop like for a minute right now because some random ass dude walked by. Random ass looks like a hobo. So for vaping, okay, it's not an act in my eyes. It's a thing you do like casual, right? So you sit on your PC or something, or chill in your bed. You got this vape lying, and you just take it, and you just take a hit, right? And many active vapers, I guess, like around 10,000 hits a day, I guess. So the thing is, 20 hits of a cigarette a day, when you smoke 20 cigarettes, is 400 hits. But divided in sets of 20. But with vaping, there are no sets. You do it whenever you need a hit. And you need a hit regularly. I hate this fucking language. So you need a hit a lot. Otherwise, you wouldn't get 10,000 a day, right? That's a whole different level. So you do all the time. Whenever you feel a tiny bit, like getting a nicotine hit, you just instantly get it. You lie in bed, like if you're a smoker and you lie in bed and you feel like, oh, cigarette would be nice, but it's cold outside, I don't want to go outside, I know. Well, then perhaps you don't do it. I say it's easy to resist in that case. Because and I'm gonna tell you why quitting to smoke and quitting to vape. I think vaping is at least as hard as quit smoking, but I think it's even harder. Let's look at the process. Let's see. Okay, it's 6 p.m. on a random ass day. You decide. One dude decides, I want to quit smoking, and the other dude decides, I want to quit vaping, and they say, okay, let's have one last. Smoker goes outside, has a cigarette, last cigarette, throws the rest away, I don't know, and the vapor has a hit, has his hits, I don't know, smoke like 20 hits probably or more. And then they decide, okay, right now 6 p.m. we're gonna stop vaping and smoking. Let's look at the cigarette dude. The cigarette dude sits there and is like, yeah, what? Right, normal day. It's quite just a normal day for a quarter of an hour. He sits and just like, yeah, well, I always do that. Because the smoker is used to not smoking for a quarter of an hour. He's used to waiting for a quarter of an hour and perhaps then go out. The vape guy, usually, because for 10,000 hits a day, you have to do it every moment, right? So after like 1 minute, he wants to instinctively grab his vape and take a small hit. Because he's like, yeah, usually I would take a hit right now. So for the vapor, it's like after 1 minute, it's like, okay, hit. So the smoker has an advantage after 1 minute, because perhaps the smoker doesn't even want to take a cigarette. Let's say they both have still access to their thingy. Right. Let's say the time arrives. The vapor, after 1 minute, the vapor says like, well, okay, wait, what's the shitty word? I committed to this quitting. Okay, let's not take a hit. And after 30 seconds, he again loses motivation. It's like, come on, fuck this, take a hit. And he again has to find the motivation. So now, after 1.5 minutes, after 30 seconds after he rejected the hit, he has to find the motivation, the complete motivation of quitting again. It's like, okay, another hit. And he again has to find the motivation, okay, I committed to this, I'm not going to do this. And the smoker, let's say he reaches his 45 minutes, and he's sitting there, it's like, well, let's get a smoke. And of course, like, he has it for the first time. And he thinks like, no, I committed to this. Let's not do this. And he goes out. He doesn't go out. Because like the vapor sits there, and let's say the steps the vapor had to do. The vapor had to grab his vape and suck once. And he wouldn't lose a lot of progress because he only waited for a minute. He didn't have any progress at all. Like 60 seconds of not vaping. He just could say, yeah, well, fuck it, I'll vape on. It's too hard right now, I'm too stressed. So, smoker says like, yeah, nearly an hour. Let's fuck it. Don't smoke. And the smoker would have to say, the smoker would have to go out in the cold and not wait out there or be out there for 20 seconds to make a hit. He had to wait out there for like 5 minutes to smoke a cigarette. So, and that's basically why I think that the smoker, like, he only has after 45 minutes, he wants to go out and smoke, and he has to resist once, right? After that, of course, it's always a completely different story, because you know, let's say it like that. Let's put an example up. If you had two habits, not unhealthy or anything, but you want to stop with them. You want to stop it. And one habit is, well, what's it, like 20 times a day. Well, the numbers say everything right now. 20 times a day, you bite your nails. And you can't do something 10,000 times that's as stupid as vaping. Let's think of anything that you would do more often. Let's say 200 times a day, you do something, play around in your hair. And you want to start with those two things. So, because you think like you play around with your hair because you think it looks bad right now. But it always looks okay, you make it even worse perhaps. So, well, if you want to bite your nails again, you would have to resist once. After that, of course, you would also have to think like, I want it now. But it's not hard to quit, because after all, you only did it 20 times before you wanted to quit. So like, you don't have smokers. Perhaps then every half an hour or something, they have like this thing where they crave nicotine, of course, all the time. But only every half hour, there's this muscle memory kind of thing, this instinctively going out and smoking one thing. And the vapor has that every minute. Like you have with fixing your hair, you want to do it all the time. So it is still harder to quit fixing your hair all the time, playing around with your hair, than this with biting your nails. Of course, you can't compare those two things as good as smoking and vaping, because there's no real addiction behind it, right? You're just mentally a bit addicted. So that's why I think, like, the vapor has much more comfort in his addiction than the smoker, right? Let's look at it. In the 1960s, I think it would be a completely different story. Because in the 1960s, you could smoke everywhere inside. You could smoke at a younger age. All those things. You could smoke in a restaurant. You could smoke whenever you want, wherever you want. Pretty much. Perhaps not in a hospital or any clinical kind of thing. But today, it's a different story. Because today, you have to go outside. At least in Austria, right? I don't know. Perhaps other countries, other rules. I don't know. But in Austria, you have to go outside. You can't smoke near other people. If you are out with a non-smoker, like imagine you're with some bitch, okay, and you're a smoker. She's like one of these eco girls. So, no, smoking is bad for your body and for the environment. It's true, but shut the fuck up. I'm not doing it because I excessively want to harm me or my environment. So you can't, if you are in a walk with her and you are a gentleman, you don't just light a cigarette. You say, either you're a gentleman or you're a pussy, I don't know. And you say like, would it disturb you if I smoked? She said, yeah, of course it would disturb me. I wouldn't kiss you anymore if you smoked. Then you had to brush you. No, I wouldn't kiss you for a week. and I wouldn't meet you for a week if you smoke right now. Oh my god, and the smoke would hit me. I don't want to stink. Wow, ugly, and stuff. Okay, so you're like, okay. And if you're in a restaurant, you just can't say, okay, I'll go smoking, except you're like either really addicted, or I don't know, like a fucking G. Perhaps you're a G and say like, you know what, fuck you, I'll go out smoke. Perhaps that. But it's hard. With a vape, what is she supposed to say? Every person I know actually believes vapes are good for the environment because you don't have the rest of the cigarette. If you smoke the rest of the cigarette, the filter is so bad for the environment. You add a battery accu that you throw away every time. And no one smokes these actual vapes that you can charge up. No one smokes these things. Because even I have to admit, those are even more pussy than just these one-time vapes. So she can't complain because she's an eco girl, but she's not well informed. If she's well informed and she doesn't let you do both things, she's a G too. But those eco girls are not informed. You will say like, hey, would it disturb you if I vaped? If I hit my vape sometimes, I need a hit again. And she's like, what's she supposed to say? All her arguments are gone. Because everybody believes it's healthy or healthier than smoking and good for the environment. You watch it, it doesn't smell bad. I think it smells bad. I don't want to walk next to a person who every 15 seconds breathes out air that smells like peach. I don't want fucking peach smell around me all day. Or any of these fruity, ugly ass smells. Leave me alone. But the eco girls say, yeah, well, it doesn't smell bad, so, and it's not unhealthy, and yeah, well, I hit it. So it's way easier and way more socially accepted to vape than to smoke. Because you always give those vibes with, yeah, I really wanted to quit smoking, but I couldn't really because of the nicotine addiction. But now I changed to vaping, and back then I smoked 20 cigarettes a day. Now I smoke 3 vapes with 16,000 hits a day. But well, it's so much healthier. They always think that. But the sad fucking reality is, well, I started when I was 14 to hit vapes with my friends. Now I smoke 2 every day. I wouldn't have smoked cigarettes otherwise. But it's so healthy and it's so fucking socially accepted. So with smoking, you can kill that 5-minute smoking break at work. Because it's all 5 minutes, right? You can throw it away. You only have the little temptation at work. Because inside you can't smoke. And you just have to kill those 5 minutes of things. You just have to put them away. Just have to not go out of the restaurant. But with quitting to vape, it's way harder because most offices you can smoke indoors. You can vape indoors. I think it's fucking crazy. But let's not talk about that. That's not my main point. I just kind of, it's really playing to my main point. But like, you know, you can do it everywhere. It's social accepted. No bad views at you. Because a person who vapes by now is better than a person who doesn't smoke or vape at all. Because like with a person who vape, they always give out these vibes like they want to stop. They really want to stop smoking. They always, not everyone, but they say shit like, yeah, well, I wanted to quit smoking, so now since 2 weeks I'm only vaping anymore, and I'm gonna start completely eventually. The fucking reality of those cases is that they bought a vape 2 years ago, are more addicted than ever, and smoke more than ever. And when they're drunk, they still smoke a pack of cigarettes because you don't really stop with vaping. So, I don't know what fucking bimbo bitch, like what the fuck, who would say, well, it's just as hard to quit because it's the same addiction. You just have to use your brain. If you ask a person, what is harder to quit? Something you do 20 times every day, or something you do thousands of times every day? Everyone will say the thing you do 20 times a day. And then the argument, it's the same addiction, plays to me. It's good for me. Why don't you get it? It's a point for me. It's the same addiction, but you do it more often with vapes. It's not that hard to understand. Then some people say like, yeah, but the cravings with smoking are much harder because you need a big nicotine hit. If you hit the fucking vape thousands of times a day, then you probably take more nicotine to you. Right? It's bullshit. It's the same addiction, but the vape addiction is probably stronger. And if you take as much nicotine in, then the addiction is the same. But then you not only, like physically, like not only your body's addicted and really wants to hit the vape, but you're mentally really fucking addicted. For one reason. And for one reason really only. And that reason is because you do it a fucking lot. Who on this planet would not understand that if you do something a lot, you will get fucking addicted to it? It is not maths. It's not hard to understand. It's the fucking easiest thing to ever understand. So please think before you argue with someone. And also, if you don't have any experience with any of these both of these things, shut the fuck up, or at least don't pretend to know it better. If a fucking vapor or a smoker wants to quit, and you say, bro, you just don't have to do it. Look at me. I'm just not doing it since 20 years. Wow, quitting is so hard. No, it's not. What the fuck? You don't get the point. Of course, if you don't take fucking crack, you're not addicted to it. Wow, but you don't quit either. You never began. All those asshole people should just smoke to see if quitting was really so easy. Because then the talks about this thing would be much nicer. So really, please, before you say, and that's a general rule, before you say something stupid, stop yourself and don't say the fucking stupid